The jury of 7 men and 5 women on the Supreme Court of New York for 5 days deciding what should be the sentence. In the end, they found the defendant guilty of criminal sexual act in the first degree, which was forced to perform oral sex. Assistant Team TV series Project Runway in 2006, writes The Guardian. Weinstein was acquitted on 3 other counts, including aggressive sexual assault. In this episode, hero looking at a life sentence, writes The Guardian. The verdict was the final point of an epic fall from Olympus, the king of film industry, who produced such films as Pulp Fiction and Shakespeare in Love, scoring a total of 81 Oscar. Soon, he changed the style and glamour of life on New York's Manhattan or Los Angeles on camera and prison in New York, writes The Guardian. Iran is the largest country in the Middle East, which, in addition to geopolitical instability, has the potential to become the epicenter of the explosion coronavirus, says the American New York News Bay. In a time when everyone is trying to stop the spread of the coronavirus, Iran comes second after China in terms of the spread of infection. The cases in Iraq, Afghanistan, Bahrain, Kuwait, Oman, Lebanon, United Arab Emirates, and even in Canada somehow have an Iranian origin, writes the newspaper. Shortly before the explosion coronavirus infection, Iran was in the spotlight of the world media and governments after Tehran's military shot down a Ukrainian civilian plane and tried to hide it. Deputy of the Iranian parliament from the city of Qom explicitly stated that where the virus has killed at least 50 people, and the first cases of infection were registered 2 weeks before the authorities recognized the presence of infection in the city. But the bigger problem is that millions of Muslims every year come to Iran to visit Shiite shrines. Only one in Afghanistan in January, Iran called for at least 30,000 pilgrims. Therefore, from Iran, the infection can easily spread to other countries, warns New York News Bay. Investors were frightened by the statement of the World Health Organization about the possibility of escalation of the epidemic COVID-19 pandemic, and calls of the British government to its citizens who return from Italy, avoid contact with other people at the first sign of the disease. After a warning by the WHO about the pandemic potential of the virus COVID-19, the cost of the largest British companies fell in 62 billion British pounds, while the FTSE 100 fell by 3.3%, which is the worst figure for the last 4.5 years. European markets also reported the worst session of trading from 2016, and in America the recent growth of index Dow Jones has gone, writes News Bay. By this time, world markets almost did not react to the spread of the coronavirus. However, recent reports about the spread of the disease outside of China made the threat of a global economic slowdown is quite real, warns the newspaper.